Hello, everyone. I'm back. Back from the southern border. This is April. I gave my last update of the southern border back in December when I went down for the first time. If you haven't seen that video, you can see it. It's pinned on the top of my Facebook, Rodney Elijah. I have a pin there so you can see my first update from when I went down there with Patriots for America militia. Since then, I want to thank Samuel Hall, the founder and president of Patriots for America, along with Captain Sean Treadway and the board of directors. They appointed me as the vice president of the Chicago chapter. We have chapters, the original founding chapter is in Texas. We have a chapter in Colorado, Arizona, and Chicago, and we are starting to expand even more. So I'm going to be giving another update on recruitment, what we're going to be doing here in Illinois. I have many Patriot friends throughout the United States, Texas, California, Arkansas, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So there are so many different things that we get involved in. You know, we just don't have the issues happening down at the southern border. It's not just there. It's coming this way. It's coming here to Illinois. It's going to Minnesota. It's going to Wisconsin. The migrants are flooding in from everywhere, and there's a problem. I kind of want to make some things clear because it seems as though so many people are misunderstood of what's actually happening here in our country. And that needs to be clarified. The record needs to be set straight. You know, we have so much lack of information being put out there by fake news media, trying to cover things up, MSNBC, CNN, even Fox News. I don't put much faith into any mainstream media. We have more factual media out there with third parties out there going to the border and reporting things on their own and putting it on YouTube live. We have many third-party journalists out there doing some work that are doing some great things. Natalie Denise is one of them, journalists and fighters for against sex trafficking. I will talk more about that later, but I kind of want to set some things straight because it was just brought to my attention again yesterday about, you know, me being Mexican and how can I go down to the southern border and am I pushing the Mexicans back into Mexico? Am I making them get back on a raft and inner tube or whatever, or making them walk back across with these children? That's not the case. That's not what's happening here. We have to get that record straight. I know I've said this before, and I'll have to say it again because I don't know if people are just pushing the start button and just listening to a couple minutes of it. I know I'm probably get boring, but you know, these are facts. I'm giving you facts of what I've seen with my own eyes and what I know. I've talked to many Border Patrol agents, many law enforcement agents, mayors of different communities that we've met with down in Texas that surround the Rio Grande River. And we hear it firsthand of what's happening. We hear it from the ranchers that live there, that live right there at the border. We hear it firsthand of what's happening there. I went down, this is my second trip down there. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've got videos throughout my Facebook, Rodney Elijah. You can see a lot of the videos there that are live, Facebook live. So there's no editing. There's nothing that we do there to manipulate anything. It's, you know, the last video I shot was live on Facebook. From the time that we've seen the migrants crossing the river with children to the time that we were able to get the children and the adults back up to the land once they got here. You know, because it is a very treacherous thing. But to make the record straight, they aren't Mexicans coming across. There are some, but most that we see coming across are from Cuba, Guatemala, Colombia. And they are here to seek asylum. And to do that, however they get from Cuba to Colombia, from Colombia to Guatemala, they get to Mexico because they can't come by plane. They can't come by ships. They have to come by land. So whether it's a bus, whether it's coyotes and cartels, which majority of them are doing that. They get them to Mexico, and then they cross the border there. and then they get to the United States and seek asylum. And under Joe Biden's rules and policies, it's easy. It's easy for them to get into America. Once they get halfway across the Rio Grande River, they are here on our land. We can't send them back. I'm sure not going to put the blood in my hands to have, whether there be adults and children or both coming across the river, and us stand there with our firearms and making them go back. Because if they drown in that river by us sending them back, you think I want that blood in my hands? When they are allowed here by our administration, that once they get here, they can go through the process? It's not us that are the bad guys here. Law enforcement aren't the bad guys. Once they get here, we can't push them back because the Biden administration gives them that right to be here. They let them seek asylum. Under the Trump administration, they'd have to wait in Mexico to get their court date. Okay, they would now they come and they get a court date and they can stay here in America. Their court date may not be for another, several months, year. I mean, there's only so many judges that handle these cases. And there are millions, hundreds of thousands of migrants that are coming across. So when do you think their court dates are going to be? If they even get a court date, if they even show up for their court date. So once they're here, they're here. And a lot of them are coming in from Cuba. When I was down at the border this couple weeks ago, most that I've seen were from Cuba. And a lot of unaccompanied minors, a lot of children. So to set the record straight, these aren't Mexicans coming across. There are some, like I said, but there are very few. Okay, because they can't seek asylum like the Cubans and the Guatemalans and the ones from Colombia are. I mean, they come here with their families. They're adults. They bring children, whether they're children or not. They smuggle them across, and they say that their family, those are their kids, and that's how a lot of kids are being trafficked. Now there are also people saying, well, they believe that these unaccompanied children come here and they lose their parents. They lost their parents somewhere along the route. That's not true. That's not true at all. I mean, in all reality, who is going to bring a child on vacation or to another country and just lose their children, get mixed up in the crossfires? That's not what's happening. What's happening is, I think in a lot of cases, from what I've heard, things are so bad in these other countries that they will sell their children to the cartels, and they will get them to America and get them trafficked. We've ran across so many children. I've got the videos on my Facebook page. There was a young girl, believe she was like 12 years old, and she allegedly had her little sister with her who looked to be 4. I still question whether that was her sister or not. But they came here from, I believe they were from Colombia. Don't quote me on that, but without parents, without adults. And they claimed they were going to Florida or California with their grandparents. And when our interpreter asked where their parents were, they had no clue, no information about their parents. No idea where they were at. No idea who they are. All they know is that they were supported here to come to go live with their grandparents. That's wrong. That's not right. That's just not. That's just unbelievable. Our interpreters ask the children when we see them, because that's our main thing. Our goal and our mission is to save these children that are being brought into this country and trafficked. That's why we're there, because so many children are coming across, and you can pretty much tell right off the bat if that's their children or not with them, because you can see that bond. Even though some may be good actors, and I'm sure some are, but you can also tell, like the little girl I was just telling you, the 2 little girls I was just telling you about. I went to Samuel Hall and I said, "Hey Sam," I said, "those 2 little girls right there, I just have this ill feeling something's not right with these 2 girls. They're kind of off on their own." There was another woman, adult woman, that was just off to the side a little bit, that kept watching us and kept watching them, and there was something shady about the whole thing. So Samuel took Natalie over to talk to these 2 girls, and and after they try to follow up to find out, from Border Patrol, what's the process with these children. The process is just so shady, and there's just so many loopholes in this whole system that these kids are being lost in the system. Nobody can account for, and nobody really knows what's happening to these children. Of course, we'll hear from the White House, from public officials, oh, well, they're sponsored here. So once they come here, they get set up with a sponsor. I'm not saying all DCFS is like this, but we all know that system's shot. We know that they don't follow up with all these children. When these children get placed with sponsors or foster parents, there's a lack of transparency. I think that this problem is so big in our country with fostering children that so many kids are falling through the loopholes. And I believe the same thing is happening, if not worse, with these migrant children. And I know there's no doubt in my heart that these kids, the majority of them that are coming over here unaccompanied, are being trafficked and being sold. And so many people have no clue of what's going on here in America. And it's a real problem that we see and that we have here going on. And if Biden gets rid of Title 42, somebody just mentioned to me again yesterday, well, he's getting rid of Title 42 because of the COVID. That's bullshit. Has nothing to do with the COVID. If they're so concerned about COVID, why did they let so many migrants start coming across over a year ago when COVID was at its peaks? They were coming across in thousands each day. Very few. You hear this from Border Patrol, hear it from law enforcement. Very few were being tested for COVID, being masked. They're put in these cages when they get here, for the holding, when they're waiting for the process. They're jammed in these cages. And everybody was blaming Trump, and not to make this political, but shit, it is political. Everybody's blaming Trump for these cages. And Joe Biden, during the campaign, he was talking about how Trump was putting these kids in the cages. He hasn't been to the border ever as president. Kamala Harris hasn't been to the border. She's been to El Paso, but that's miles away from where the problem is. Miles away from where the problem is. We have not had Kamala Harris or Joe Biden down at Eagle Pass, where the main problem is, from there all the way to Arizona, to see what is actually happening here. We just had a Border Patrol agent, or I'm sorry, not a Border Patrol agent. We just had a National Guard officer that went into the water at Eagle Pass to try to save a couple of migrants from drowning. And we had lost him. He had, they believed he drowned, and they did find his body, I believe, yesterday. So they had a memorial for him there at Eagle Pass. And it's a very, very sad situation what's going on down there. We hear of children, the cartel, being brought across the river and basically, brought the attention to National Guard or Border Patrol, and leave children, infants there, and they jet back across the river just to smuggle these kids over here. And, it's a huge problem that we have going on, and it's not just there in Texas. It's coming this way. And they're not just families looking for, there are some, don't get me wrong, there are some families with children that want a better life, okay? And I have no problem with that. These are human beings. I have no problem with them, with migrants coming here and going through the process and doing it the right way and wanting to become American citizens. We are a great country. I love this country. And I have no problem with them doing that legally. But the way they're doing it is dangerous. They're putting their children they're putting their children's lives on the line. They're being promised a life here in America that not even our veterans have, not even our homeless have. They're bringing them, once the migrants get here, they're putting them on charter buses or airplanes. This is the truth. This is the truth. On our taxpayer dollars, they're putting them on airplanes and buses and sending them to our communities across our country. And on our dollar, on our tax dollar. And they're giving them phones on our tax dollars. they're giving them, there's a new law that's being passed here in Illinois. I don't know if they passed it or not. I haven't had a chance to follow it. Free health care, free prescriptions for immigrants that make under $20,000 a year, and free eye care. Our veterans don't even get that kind of good care. As long as they make under $20,000, I mean, how many immigrants are coming across who are going to get a job right off the bat? And especially when they're offered all this stuff from our government to go out there and get a job that will show on the books that they're making over $20,000 a year. You know as well as I do that's not going to happen. So they're going to have all these handouts. They're going to have free health care, free housing. We have so many people on the streets of California. Go on to YouTube. Put in homeless in California, in Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon. Go to Kensington, I believe it's Kensington Avenue or Kensington in Pennsylvania. See what's happening there on our streets. Get a visual of what's happening to to the Americans that are right here in our country, that are trying to survive every day. With inflation, there are so many single parents that are out there struggling right now, that are maybe getting some food stamps or getting some government assistance. But the migrants that are coming across, the immigrants that are here in America that are making under $20,000 a year are going to get free health care, free dental, free vision, and they get cell phones. All on our tax dollars. And they get taken to wherever they want to go. We have a real problem here in America. And if we don't open our eyes and we don't change what's going on, it's going to start impacting us harder and harder as time goes on. We've had we met with the mayor of Uvalde, Texas, and Samuel Hall, myself, our captain, Sean, and we had another one of our Patriots. I'll kind of leave his name out. But we met with the mayor on our last rotation a couple weeks ago, and Uvalde is it's in a community where they have crime has spiked. They have concerns of the buses coming in and dropping off the migrants in their community. They're being told that this mayor's been fighting to stop this from happening. They have high-speed chases and pursuits that are with armed criminals coming through this small community almost daily. And if this Title 42 gets dropped, right now I guess there's a hold on it. I guess the judge has put a hold on it. So they're going to delay that, and hopefully it doesn't go through and doesn't get dropped. Because if it does, the mayor needs assistance. And we met with the mayor, and they're appreciating our help to be able to go into that community and to be able to hopefully put a stop to those buses dropping off the migrants. And it's going to be a pretty big deal if that happens, because I'm sure that they will try to get protesters arrested who are trying to stop any of that from going on. But this process is dirty. And, they talk about Governor Abbott doing things to help out. And he's got this, I can't remember what the program's called, but, that's a joke too. I mean, Governor Abbott is all politics. He's a typical politician. Makes it sound like he's doing all these great things in Texas, and he's really not. I mean, he put up containers down there to make it look like it's a border wall right next to the river. And so container haulers are like you see on the rail trains at semi. They go on top of the semi, and you can pull them down the road. But those containers. So they have those set up along the river, and there's gaps enough that you could drive a car through them. It's just all show. Governor Abbott really hasn't done anything for the Texans at all, and the Texans aren't happy with what's going on down there. The ranchers especially. I mean, there are women being raped, and this one's tough because we were down at Eagle Pass, and we ran across a couple of individuals who are in law enforcement, and we had a conversation with them, and we actually saw a video from where we were standing right across the river. As you've seen some of the videos, it's not very far at all. So law enforcement has cameras right that go across the river. They could see the land there, and we seen with our own eyes a group of migrants. I don't know what country they're from, but there were two cartel members, thugs, that went over and brought a young girl from that group off to the side, and they both raped her. They both raped her. And by the time law enforcement is able to get hold of Mexican authorities, it's done. They'll never find them from where that field was. But you can see it all taking place. And this is happening, and it's been happening for years. But it's getting worse. You know, we're still seeing the rape trees. We're still seeing, little kids' garments, underwear, bras, women's bras that are, hanging on trees. That's where, the coyotes and the cartel, they rape these women, and they hang their clothes and their undergarments on the little trees to mark their territory. Seen a lot of that. So many stories that are being told by Border Patrol, law enforcement, and things that we see with our own eyes. It's very dangerous down there, and it's coming here. These aren't just families coming to make a better life for their family. These are a lot of criminals coming across with drugs, guns, children. And these families that are being helped here by the cartel, they're basically owned. They just don't pay a fee to come here. They're owned by the cartel, even once they get here. So when they start making money here, whether it be a regular job or prostitution or massage parlors, we have many of those massage parlors up in Chicago, a lot of brothels, and a lot of prostitution going on in our communities and in Chicago. And that's what we're going to be fighting as Patriots for America, to be able to pinpoint these places, get these children out of there, and hopefully save these children and women from what they're being trafficked into. It's not by choice. There's no little girl that wakes up and says, I want to be trafficked. I want to come into America and be a prostitute or be shuffled off to all kinds of different men and gang raped. There was a little girl. I just thought of this now, and I can't remember her age, but she was young. I want to say maybe 8, 9, 10 years old. Semen only stays in a woman's body for, I guess it's for maybe 24 hours or whatever it is. And don't quote me on this. I know the number's big, but I believe it was like 15 to 20 different men, different semen that was in this little girl's body when they found her. Little girls are pregnant at the age of 12, 11 years old. So many different stories that we're hearing from Border Patrol that these little girls are coming here pregnant at that age. And, this is a serious problem, and people don't realize, because they got a lot of things, a lot of people here in America, they have a family, they have 2 jobs, they have sports, they have so many different things going on in their own life that they're not paying attention, because one, they're not hearing it from the news. You won't see it there. They don't have time to go on YouTube. They don't have time to really go on Facebook. And if they do, they're probably not going to listen to me, hopefully they do. So if you do get a chance to please share this, because these are facts. This is truth. And, I'm telling you exactly what I see down there, and it's a problem. And we have to do what we can to fix it, because we are the people. This is our country, and they are destroying it. This Democrat Party is destroying this liberal movement, this Marxist movement, this communist movement is a big deal. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I tell you what, a lot of the things that, they would call us for conspiracy has been coming to fruition. It seems like the truth behind a conspiracy is about 6 months to a year, because some of the wild things that you say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. But then all of a sudden, within 6 months, well, there's that conspiracy theory you thought was there. And if we had been able to act on it, we could have probably stopped it. So keep thinking that everything is a conspiracy. And one of these days, you're going to see it in your own backyard. And it'll be a shame, because while you sat on your couch, or you sat on Facebook just playing around on Facebook, Our communities are being invaded, and we need to do something about it. And the only way it's going to be done, because we still have a lack of law enforcement, is by each and every one of you at least doing something. By voting. I know there's a lot of conspiracy out there that that's all rigged, but we have to do it. We have to go out and vote. And what I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, go ahead and check it. LaSalle County. I'm a registered Democrat in LaSalle County, but no more. Rodney Perez, go look me up. I'm not lying about it. I'm a registered Democrat in LaSalle County. Never again will I vote for another Democrat, ever. I used to say I'm an independent. I vote for whoever's doing the right thing and doing what's right. I never voted for Biden. I voted for Trump. I based myself more on an independent voter and a person with an open mind. And I was voting for people who I thought, like in our communities, that were doing a good job, and a lot of them were Democrat. And I would vote for who I thought was going to do the right job. And so I was kind of surprised I was marked as a Democrat. But I'm never going to do that again. I don't care if it's on a local level, school board, or what have you. I'm never going to vote for another Democrat. And the reason why, not all Democrats are bad, don't get me wrong, but they're being hijacked. Our country is being hijacked by this socialist, Marxist, communist American agenda to strip away our Constitution, strip away our guns. You might laugh about it or giggle, oh, what have they done to do that? Well, they haven't really done much yet, but they take the little baby steps to do it. But eventually they're going to do it if we keep going down this road. And we, the people, will not allow that to happen. Before I end this, we're at 26 minutes. Before I end this, I want to just make clear again one more time. I say Patriots for America militia. The word militia, people, oh my God, he's a militia. He's a white supremacist. He's a racist. I'm far from racist. I'm far from being a white supremacist. I love all people. Patriots for America, we don't see skin color. We see the red, white, and blue. We love America. We love the people. We're not anti-government. By any means, we're not anti-government. We support the police and we support politicians. I was a public official in my city, in my community. We don't stand with corruption, though. We don't stand with politicians who are going to be making the wrong decisions and doing the wrong thing. So we will stand against them. And I'm not saying, oh, militia, yeah, we take our guns out and go after them. We don't want to hurt anybody. That's not our goal. That's not what we do. We're here to help the people. We the people. Even politicians are we the people until they start doing some corrupt stuff, and then they need to be stood up against. And we got to save our country. We have to save our country, or we're going to lose it. And that's no joke. So we're at 28 minutes. I'll give another update within the next couple of weeks. I have a really tight, busy schedule, and but we need to do some recruitment here in Illinois. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you don't have any felony records, I have an application for you to fill out. Go ahead and hit me up on Facebook Messenger at Rodney Elijah. Or you could go to patriotsforamerica.militia.com, fill out an application, because all applications are going to go through there. And they will review your applications. They will do a background check and, put on the application there, Illinois, and, that you heard from me, and then they will connect you with me if you want to take that route. But you will have to go through the application process. There's no doubt about it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my brother, my sister, my cousin, my best friend. You need to get cleared, because we're not going to allow anybody into this organization that has the wrong intent. You could try to sneak in. You could have the wrong agenda. You could be a liberal and say, yeah, I have guns, I have ammo, I have vests, I have this and that, and I want to make a difference in this country, but we'll have you figured out before we bring you in here if you're here for the wrong agenda. So we want the right people in here. And I will tell you, when we go down to the border and do that work down there, you must have protective gear, a long rifle, pistol, body armor, just because there are people down there that want to hurt us, that want to hurt law enforcement, that want to hurt we the people. They want to hurt anybody down there doing what we do, because we get in their way. They want to They want to get rid of us just like they've been doing with law enforcement by killing them, shooting them, and trying to intimidate them. We're not intimidated. We are the hands and feet of Christ. Firmly believe that we have God's protection, and He's going to keep an eye on us. And if I die on that hill, saving children, then so be it. I'm doing the right thing. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to kill anybody. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. But we have to protect our children. We have to protect our country. And we have to stand. We have to put boots on the ground. We can't just be doing, lip syncing, just doing the talk. You got to walk it. So if you're interested, reach out. God bless, and thank you.